All right. Now, for the Nigerian Senate, it is a desperate time in Nigeria regarding insecurity and challenges. Challenges must be tackled with desperate measures. The Senate raised the alarm over the worsening state of insecurity in the country and demanded special military operations against banditry, kidnapping, and other violent crimes. Dotun, you want to keep up to speed with this? Nigerian Senate concerned. The last 2 weeks we've been showing concern too about areas across the country that we feel that, look, if we don't handle the issue of security very well, it's kind of escalating by the day.
Well, there is no lie in that we're having very serious issues. And even the service chiefs, they're speaking to it. They are saying the things that they are doing, and not just doing, but giving us figures in terms of what they are doing. The Chief of Army Staff, General Agbaja, has spoken and said, see, through the Defense Headquarters, the CDS has also spoken, as the Chief of Defense Staff has also spoken, and they've been giving us the battles they've had to fight. And they do that twice weekly. The Chief of Air Staff also spoke and said they were also trying to acquire more platforms to combat crime. But it's unfortunate that things are not working as fast as Nigerians want. For instance, look at the kidnapping that occurred in Ondo State last week, where choir members of a church were going for a program, and 25 of them were kidnapped. Apart from what happened at the church in the Catholic Church in Ondo State, it's been a long time we've had issues like this to contend with. Very, very, very long time in Ondo State. And if that could happen in Ondo State, where we had a feeling that the insecurity had been tackled to an extent, it actually calls for concern. And for me, I would expect the Senate to do more than the talking that has been done. They should also quickly look at the needs of the armed forces of Nigeria to tackle all of these challenges headlong. We should do less of talking now and have more of action. The way the armed forces, or the ways in which they have responded, at least so far, in this regime, that's from May 29 till now, I'm impressed. It's just like we said during the talk on importation of expired products that the customs stopped. These people are also getting more desperate. They are trying to look for new ways of ensuring that they catch our security men unawares. And that is what is happening now. So whichever way the Senate can help, by way of funding, to speed up things happening and doing the oversight function properly, it will go a long way.
So, Babajide, during the last administration, we talked about capacity, we talked about will, and we are looking at the direction of this administration. But I've not seen President Bola Tinubu really talk much. Yes, he's been talking about the specific deterioration of security, how he's going to handle banditry and insurgents in the northeast. I've not heard much of the specific on direct what they want, what they intend to do to address this. And if we don't have peace across that corridor, there's still going to be a problem.
No, in his manifesto, he dealt extensively into what he will do, how he will police Nigeria, how will keep our people safer. One of the things that he suggested is, I came up with is the idea of forest rangers. We can't deny the fact that our forests have become good habitation for these criminals. Whether it's in the North Central, where we have the Kanji Lake National Park, is an extensive forest that bandits and terrorists, offshoot of the Shekau faction of Boko Haram, have turned to their home. You know, the fact that we left Sambisa too is a forest reserve that we left unattended for so long until bandits decided to take it over, you know? So it became a problem. You go to Zamfara, in Maru local government, for example, we have forests, extensive forests. Some of these local governments are even bigger than some states.
Some states, yeah.
You know?
Bigger.
So those forests are there. Look at Dansadao Forest, for example. It's a breeding ground, it's a training ground for terrorists. And some of the most dangerous terrorists that we've had, including their late leader, Buhari Ndaji, who was pictured in a photograph, who was pictured with former governor of Katsina, Governor Masari. That's the forest where he eventually lost his life to Dogogide. So those forests, we need to do something about those forests. Ashwaju talked about recruiting and arming forest rangers. Because, look, I believe the forest rangers can work. Because you look at, in Borno State, they use agro rangers. They call them agro rangers. They provide security for farmers. I was in Mafa local government, and on the way to Mafa local government from Maiduguri, both sides of the road, you see farmers engaging in farming. And these these agro rangers provide security for them. Some of the agro rangers are repentant Boko Haram fighters, you know. You see them armed with their pump action and other light weapons, providing support for these people. So that key element in Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's manifesto, we want to see it implemented. We want to see it implemented because if we, look, there are so many young people. If we give them training, they are ready to volunteer to protect their country. When you go to Katsina today, the state government has come up with this idea of training thousands of young men, and they were actually trained by the police, who will come and work as vigilantes, you know, and protect the frontline local governments. There are at least 12 to 13 local governments where bandits are giving our people issues in Zamfara, in Katsina State. So the governor, I think the kickoff of the thing is actually on Tuesday. So the governor has come up with the idea, believing that if they can post them, at least every local government will have like 100 of those boys. Post them to their local governments. They will secure those local governments. They will be able to provide intelligence for our regular security operatives, the armed forces. So I believe that that is the way to go. In Zamfara, Governor Dauda Lawal is trying to replicate what they have done in Borno State that is already successful. The synergy between the young men that you call civilian JTF and the army. I've seen it work. In fact, the civilian JTF, they work with the soldiers. They're always by the roadside. The soldiers will take will just be like 20 meters, behind them. They are usually the ones who go to search the vehicles. It is where they raise an alarm, the army will join. And there have been occasions when this same civilian JTF actually went with the army on military operation. So they've been embedded with the armed forces, working with the armed forces to ensure that we secure Borno State better. So in Zamfara, the governor is trying to replicate that. And I can assure you, if they do it properly, if it is not politicized, and if they keep an eye on the traditional rulers in their communities who are working in cahoot with some of these bad people, definitely security will improve. Because right now, I'm sure that if you ask Governor